The Air series has been Macintosh's most well-known line of PCs for quite a long time. It's a notable machine, however one that has frequently been left without large overhauls before. That is a long way from the case now. After 2020's large change to the M1 chip, it's presently the ideal opportunity for the MacBook Air to get a major redesign, while acquiring a portion of the MacBook Pro 14 stunts, initially sent off in 2021. There are still no substantial bits of gossip regarding when a more current model could show up, and it very well may be mid-2023 when a M3 update gets uncovered. That implies this will probably be one of Apple's most appealing machines for the following year. Design. Updated look makes this a more modest rendition of the new MacBook Pro outline. Phenomenal keyboard and enormous, responsive trackpad. 4 tones, including new increments 12 PM and Starlight. The MacBook Air M2 emulates the pricier MacBook Pro 14 and 16 kin with regards to the general design. It has a boxier look than previously, with the famous wedge design dumped. The design is smooth and classy, and it's much more convenient than the thick and correlation 14 and 16 inches variants. This probably won't be the most slender laptop around. However, it's generally more slender than the past model and is inconceivably convenient accordingly. Past to this, I had been hauling around a MacBook Pro in my pack, and slipping this in rather helps me to remember what compels the Air range so extraordinary. It weighs 1.24 kilograms and has a level of simply 1.13 centimeters. That makes it more slender than an iPad Pro, with a Magic Keyboard connected, making this Mac's most convenient versatile workstation. On the off chance that you were expecting a MacBook Air available in every one of the shades of the rainbow, then, at that point, I'm here to dishearten. Space Dim and Silver remain, with new Starlight and 12 PM choices added. I have been trying the Starlight choice. The most effective way to portray it would be an exceptionally unobtrusive gold. It improves at concealing fingerprints than the matte 12 PM choice, which is an extremely dim blue. On one side you'll find 2 Thunderclap 3 divided by USB 4 ports, alongside the attractive MagSafe port for charging. There's likewise a 3.5mm headphone port on the opposite side. It would have been pleasant for Apple to part the USB-C ports and have one on each side, as I frequently run out of room when I'm connecting numerous things. There's likewise no SD card peruser nor HDMI, so you'll probably need to put resources into a decent USB-C center point to oblige this laptop. The expansion of MagSafe basically gives you an additional port, as the need might arise to go through one of the USB ports for charging. You can in any case accuse of a quick USB-C link and charger, however that doesn't come in that frame of mind. With a variety-matched MagSafe link, the substitution. The renewed introduction of MagSafe, a staple on MacBooks pre-2016, is a lot of gladly receive. The attractive link disengages assumping that you unintentionally stumble over it, something that doesn't occur with a standard USB-C link. The drove on the link likewise tells you when it's completely energized, which I tracked down. A truly smart idea. The keyboard and trackpad are both brilliant. The Magic Keyboard has sufficient travel for happy with composing. In addition to it packs a full line of capability keys and a touched sensor for biometric opening. Assuming you're refreshing from one of the MacBook Airs with Mac's famously terrible butterfly keyboard, then the improvements here will make this redesign worth the effort alone, particularly for the individuals who go through a large part of the day composing. Beneath the keyboard, there's a monstrous trackpad which utilizes a haptic reaction to reproduce an actual press. The trackpad itself doesn't really move anyplace, yet I question you'd be aware so much. Screen, 13.6 inches, is bigger than the past MacBook Air. Score is somewhat irritating, however not entirely obvious. The screen on the MacBook Air M2 is the biggest you'll track down on Mac's Air series. However, there are thunderings a 15 inches model could show up in 2023. It is an extraordinary board, regardless of whether it misses the mark on of the abilities you could find somewhere else. Apple has kept most of a similar screen tech from the past model, including the utilization of an IPS LCD board. You'll in any case have to go for the MacBook Pro 14 or 16 to get the more profound blacks and proper HDR performance that accompanies Little Drove. Another component missing here is the 120Hz ProMotion variable revive rate tech, with this simply a standard 60Hz display. The change to more slender bezels has permitted Apple to extend the screen, moving it from 13.3 to 13.6 inches. This accompanies a drawback, however. There's a strong score diving into the display from the top. The score doesn't be guaranteed to irritate me, and it mixes in the long run. Yet the absence of genuine moves up to the webcam makes it harder to swallow. The goal has been increased from 2560x1600 to 2560x1664 to compensate for the greater screen, and the board is more brilliant than its ancestor. In my lab tests, the screen hit the greatest 500 nit brilliance that Apple claimed. That is essentially more splendid than the typical 300 nit laptop screen. In my daily use, I would in general keep the splendor at around half, which I felt was agreeable on my eyes in a sufficiently bright room. Having that additional couple of hundred nits available makes it usable outside, something dimmer screens aren't able to do. Performance. The M2 chip is definitely not a gigantic jump over the M1. 8GB SLAM and 256GB in the base model. The overhauled webcam is still a piece refuse. After the immense jump forward Apple made with its M1 chip, the transition to M2 is continuously going to be undeniably more insignificant. While I will get onto performance in no time, we should go through the models available. You can get this laptop in two main arrangements. The base model has a 8-center GPU, 8-center computer chip, 16-center brain motor, and 8GB memory. I have been evaluating the pricier form, which will hinder you £1,499 divided by £1,549 and accompanies a similar 8-center central processor, 8GB memory, 16-center brain motor, yet duplicates the 256GB base stockpiling to 512GB and has a beefier 10-center GPU, 256GB of stockpiling. For myself and for a great many people I've examined this laptop with, simply isn't sufficient. Applications, photographs, films, games, and so forth are large nowadays, and I thundered past 400GB by simply moving a limited quantity of content from my more seasoned machine. There have likewise been reports the 256GB SSD is slow, but I haven't had the option to test this myself. On the off chance that you're seeing putting resources into this machine for the long stretch, I would recommend plumping for the pricier model. The MacBook Air M2 is being sold close by the M1 variant from 2020, and that implied a cost bounce for the new models. This is presently not a £999 divided by $999 laptop, and that makes it undeniably less attainable for some. I wouldn't actually suggest somebody pay that extra only for the leap in performance from the M1 to the M2. There are little overhauls in all the benchmarking tests I ran, which you can see beneath. Yet I didn't see a lot of additional performance in genuine use. Nonetheless, this remains perhaps of the most able laptop in its size range, essentially because of the fabulous performance of Mac's M series chips. This probably won't be a laptop with a Pro moniker, however it can undoubtedly deal with Pro undertakings. 4 Kelvin video altering in both Adobe's debut Pro and Apple's finished product Pro is effectively attainable, with smooth looking at timetables. The main way I figured out how to dial the machine back, while altering 4 Kelvin film moved opposite an iPhone, was to have it connected to Apple's 5 Kelvin Studio display. Still worth recollecting that you'll get the best performance here by running applications that are locally worked for Apple Silicon. Intel-designed applications generally work, yet they go through an interpretation layer called Rosetta 2, so performance will be impacted. Battery life. Different charger decisions, including quick charging and a multi-port charger. Magnificent the entire day perseverance. Can be charged either by means of MagSafe or USB-C. Apple's M1 machines have produced remarkable perseverance, and the M2 variants reflect that regardless of whether it drive things that a lot further. Over the 14 days of utilizing the MacBook Air M2 consistently as my main work machine, I haven't needed to go after the charger by any means during a run-of-the-mill 9 to 5.30 day. This day would incorporate a couple of long periods of Zoom call, unending leeway messages, composing in Google Docs, and incidental episodes of Photoshop and Lightroom. Toward the day's end, I would commonly be left with around 20% left, enough for the beginning of the following day. This was comparable to the outcomes I got when I surveyed the MacBook Air M1. I ran a circled 1080p video with the splendor set to half, and the MacBook Air M2 went on for almost 14 hours, which is up from 12 hours of the M1 machine. Finally, please subscribe to my channel to get more video. See you again next time.